Coming up on today's Alabama Football Report, we've got a bunch of news for you guys. Recruiting related, the Crimson Tide landed a new 4-star addition, likely going to play wide receiver, and a bunch of takeaways from Fan Day and open practice for the Crimson Tide. We'll break that down, but first, if you are excited about the addition of 4-star athlete who's probably going to play wide receiver, but also baseball for the Crimson Tide, that is Amari Jefferson. If you are excited, like today's video right now. In theory, every single person watching should like it for us right this second. The Crimson Tide did land Jefferson on Saturday. He is a former Tennessee baseball commit. He was down to Tennessee, Georgia, and the Crimson Tide. It is Alabama who ends up coming out on top. His plan, by the way, is to play both football and baseball for the Crimson Tide. Not often you end up with a 4-star dual sport athlete, but a noteworthy addition for the Crimson Tide, especially in light of the loss of Perry Thompson to Auburn, who flipped last week, or late last week, I should say, a while ago. Jefferson, his background here, a 4-star recruit in the class of 2024. He's number 209 overall. He is listed as an athlete, but he will likely be playing wide receiver for the Crimson. That'd be a bit of a surprise play anywhere else, by the way. The number 3 player in the state of Tennessee, always at least somewhat nice to poach players from rival school states. So good get there for the Crimson Tide. Here's what Jefferson said about his decision to go to Alabama. He said, quote, "Knowing the rich tradition at receiver, that they can take my game to the next level, help me become a solid pro, sold me on Alabama." I would wonder, intentional or not, if this is, maybe I'll interpret it this way, and that's the unintentional side, if this is a bit of a shot by Amari Jefferson. Remember, Perry Thompson decommitted from Alabama, flipped to Auburn, saying that Hugh Freeze better develops wide receivers, which is simply not true. The numbers, the stats, the reality do not bear that out. Jefferson saying the exact opposite of why he picked Alabama. So, shots fired, intentional or not, I did think it was worth mentioning. This is then where the Alabama class ranks in the 24/7 Sports Composite. 9th overall, still low on the volume, 15 total commits, 2 5-stars, 10 4-stars, and 3 3-stars. Well, those 3 stars, by the way, might not stay 3 stars. All right, on now to some Fan Day takeaways. Number 1, we all knew it was going to be the number 1 takeaway. It's the number 1 storyline for the Crimson Tide. It is the quarterback battle. It is very clear this is a 3-player race, I should say. Who wins the quarterback battle in the end? TS for Ty Simpson, JM for Jalen Milroe, TB for Tyler Buckner. That is today's pinned comment. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. TS, JM, or TB. Nick Saban asked about it, said this: "You're going to ask me about the quarterbacks every day. And every day I'm going to tell you the same thing. Everyone's getting reps at the position. Someone's got to take the bull by the horns. Somebody's got to separate themselves. When that happens, we'll tell you. We'll be glad to tell you when we're going to take the cake out of the oven." So multiple analogies there for Saban. Small sample size from one open day of practice. The order did kind of go by seniority. Jalen Milroe, then Ty Simpson, then Tyler Buckner. Seemed like Milroe and Simpson got a little bit more of the reps with the ones from that perspective. So we'll have to wait and see how it all materializes from that perspective. But Milroe, Simpson, Buckner, all very much in a battle as things sit currently for the 2023 starting quarterback job. A limited sample size for a lot of these guys, not just in practice where they showed some pros and cons. You're not going to make it off of one practice at the beginning of August. In 2020, limited sample sizes, right? Milroe played a little bit for Alabama. I guess the best numbers of this group, like better touchdown interception ratio. I think Ty Simpson still has the best upside, but he's also the most unproven. 4 passes, 5 yards. That's not nearly enough to judge a player on. Tyler Buckner was okay against Ohio State, bad against Marshall, better against South Carolina. All 3 guys do offer some running ability, which I think will matter as they move forward, by the way. Now, our goal here is 9,000 subscribers. We are 207 away. We're making some progress. I like the direction we're headed in, but we need your help. If you haven't already, hit that sub button right now. Number 2, how about we'll call them the killer bees at wide receiver. Benson, Boyd, Brooks, and Burton from that perspective. Jermaine, Corey, Malik, and Isaiah, of course, as well. Up and down here. There's reason to be excited and reason to be concerned. Can these guys hold on to the football more consistently? Can they live up to the immense potential that they've had? Can the quarterback hit the ball on a reliable basis? There are options here, right? The top 4, I think, in some order look like that. There will be some adjustments even, I think, throughout the season. There are other players who could emerge. Law, Prentice. I think it'd be really fun if Emmanuel Henderson emerged, but that's probably asking a bit too much in year 1. The wide receiver room is not going to be as heavily utilized as it was in the Bryce Young, air it out offense era. Under Tommy Rees, who spoke today, we'll break down his comments in an upcoming video too, what it means for Alabama. There's going to be more run heavy, I suspect, this year. But that means on third downs, your receivers have to make plays. Hopefully they do that this year. So grade the Alabama wide receiver room right now. A, B, C, D, or F. Go vote in the comments. Note number 3 is on the left tackle battle, where Elijah Pritchett is the incumbent, so to speak. The redshirt freshman has the veteran leader, I guess, from that perspective. The seniority, that's the word I'm looking for there. He also appeared to suffer a left ankle injury during fan day, then later went to the locker room under his own power. So we will wait and see what Pritchett's status is moving forward. If under his own power means he'll probably be okay, but there is this 5-star recruit waiting in the wings that we all kind of think at some point takes over that starting left tackle job. That is Kadyn Proctor, a 5-star recruit from this past cycle. He's the number 9 overall recruit in the country. He was the number 1 tackle, the number 1 player from the state of Iowa. I would fully anticipate the reality being that Proctor at some point takes over, but he's going to have to earn that job still in camp, preseason, or the regular season once that gets going as well. I'll call camp, preseason kind of all the same at the college level since there are no games. But you can bet on games for the NFL preseason by using promo code TIDE125 at chatsports.com/TideBet. That takes you right into the BetUS Sportsbook site. $100 down, they're going to give you 125% deposit bonus. So $100 in, an extra 125 to bet with. They are going to give you literally free money, folks, to bet with. Maybe you want to bet on Alabama to win the national title. Maybe you want to bet on them to win the SEC. There's Heisman Trophy props. There's a bunch of stuff you guys can bet on with BetUS. Chatsports.com/TideBet. Promo code is TIDE125. Go check them out today. Give yourself some free money to bet with BetUS. A couple defensive notes here. How about Jihaad Campbell? Seems like he is now in line to start at one of the off-ball linebacker positions, the weak side linebacker, the will linebacker in Bama's terminology there. He got the vast majority of the work with the ones alongside Deontay Lawson, ahead of Jermaine Marshall, etc. That's noteworthy. Campbell, of course, did not come to Alabama as an off-ball linebacker. He first arrived for the Crimson Tide as an edge rusher. That was the role that he played from that perspective. He was a 5-star recruit back in the class of 2022. Did not really play all that much this past season. He was number 16 overall in that class, the number 1 rated edge. But Bama said, we're going to put you at off-ball linebacker, not make you a full-time edge. Number 3 from the state of Florida. If the former 5-star can emerge, I only view that as a positive for the Crimson Tide. Our final takeaway is on the secondary. A lot of rotation there. This is certainly not a finalized grouping at this stage, but this is mostly what it looked like in the open practice. Obviously, Kool-Aid McKinstry is clearly cornerback 1. If somebody has to step in there, it probably would be the other corner we'll get to in a little bit, but we'll label Antonio Kite as the top backup there. The star position featured Malachi Moore, some Earl Little II, and even some Jalen Key, who I kind of suspect is going to mostly play safety, but maybe won't be one of the top backups in the secondary for Alabama. Caleb Downs is going to start. Sorry, Christian Story. Sorry, Jake Pope. Devonta Smith got the run over Story, over Pope, over Jalen Key as the next backup safety. So the other Devonta Smith for the Crimson Tide, of course, there's a former receiver who has been so good in the NFL. He's getting some run as the next starter at safety. Terrion Arnold still working slightly over Trey Amos, the Louisiana transfer, but Amos did get thrown with the starters, so I would wonder if, God forbid something happens to McKinstry, if Amos is your next man up at corner. I think Arnold holds the slight edge, though, over Amos, but Alabama needed some depth, and they got some of that in Amos and in Kiu. I think will still play big roles, if not full-time starter roles for the Crimson Tide this year. Obviously, Kool-Aid, future first-round pick, is the number one corner. Who's the other starting corner, if you had to guess? 3 is number for Terrion Arnold, or 23 for Trey Amos?